So who is them? I mean, why? So clearly there is a very well organized, very well funded effort to eliminate the white population of Europe. I mean, because it is being eliminated and you're not allowed to notice it, you'll be punished by police and courts you pay for if you notice what's happening to your ancestors' homeland. So that's all just true. What?
That's right.
Like, who is pushing this?
It's the question of all questions, right? But it seems that all of these leaders that we have, be it Keir Starmer, be it Ursula von der Leyen, be it Merz in Germany, be it Macron, they all follow the same playbook. They all say the same things, literally post the same things, in their communications to the outside world. They might focus on slightly different subjects here and there, but the agenda is the same everywhere. And it's the erosion, essentially, of our borders, of our nation states, of our heritage. Right. I don't have to tell you or your audience that. We all know it. The question is, who's behind it? Honestly, I don't know. I can't answer that question. But what I can tell you is that the people who are rolling out these agendas are doing it out in the open, in front of our faces, and they keep getting re-elected. So I have made it my mission, at least, to talk about those people and target them specifically, because they are the ones that are in front of us, rolling this out over and over and over again. But it's very difficult to say.
So I don't know that much about Merz. I don't know Macron. His reputation is smart, is clever, and cunning, skilled politically. But I know a fair amount about Keir Starmer, and you will never convince me, at gunpoint even, that Keir Starmer is making independent decisions about the future of Britain. Just, you can't convince me of that. He's not adequate as a leader of a nation. He just doesn't have the basic qualities. He is taking orders. That could not be clearer, and I think it's clear to the British population. But you don't know who's giving those orders.
No, I mean, I don't know who's giving those orders. I think if we would know, it would be easier to stop this from happening, right? But that is, I think, part of the agenda, is that we don't exactly quite know who's behind this.
Do we not know? Do we not know? Does she not know? Do we not know? What a kickoff. I thought we'd kick off the week of WEF. It's my favorite week. It's my favorite week. We get to see all the truly, truly amazing humans in this world get together. Now, unfortunately, they have to fly on private planes. I know. Like they say, we shouldn't be traveling on planes at all. But they have to. They have to travel on private planes. You don't. We don't. Nor should we. But they need to. Hey, what they're doing is so unbelievably important to the future of humanity that all bets are off. The narratives that we get stuffed down our throats by them, it's for us to comply with. This is not them. I mean, they can't make rules and follow them. Do we really want to handcuff these unbelievable human beings? No. We want to give them enough leeway and wiggle room that whatever they want to do, they can do it. Yeah, whether we agree with it or not, that's not up for us to decide, We have bigger things to worry about. We have small problems that we need to not only worry about, but argue with amongst ourselves, right? These big issues, that they deal with. Let's just wait for them to find the answer, and then they can shove it down our throats. That's the way I like to ingest my information. I like it shoved down me throat, right? And meanwhile, we have our own small little disagreements that we can fight almost to the death about, right? That's what we should be doing. Not this, this law of large number stuff, intellectual logic. Let them figure it out. However they have to. If they got to break some eggs to make this humanity's omelet, let them do it. If anyone's capable of change. It's those people. When I look at that woman, I'm going to see if I can do something here. Hold on. Bear with me here. Let's see.
True. What?
Merits in German.
Nope. Hold on a second. Did I do it? Nope. Nope. I didn't do it. Okay. Anyway, what am a horrible failure trying to. I should have coordinated. And with that girl, I can't remember her name. When I look at her, a couple things pop to mind. She's traditionally maybe, one of the more beautiful pundits, if you want to call it that. Hold on a second. I was going to try to talk and try to bring up a picture of her. We know what we're talking about. Whatever that girl was. Blonde, blue eye, just like this kind of stereotypical objective science of beauty, right? There's certain things that are just undeniable and you recognize it. And I think that's like when for dudes, when you're in your car and you're driving and like you look over and you see a girl there, you can't not look at her because you're trying to figure out the science of her. Because there's a weird, sacred geometry to the face that then makes you think about procreation, right? But the science has to fit. That's the first thing. We think there's all these cultural aspects of beauty, but it's really just the science, and it's apparent, and it's a math problem, and you instantly figure it out when you see scientifically beautiful women or men, and that's why we stare at it, because it's rare, because most people's cosmetic math is off. The answer doesn't make sense, or it's just incongruent with the objective truth of beauty. But anyway, when I see that, I think, is that where we're going to find truth coming up? Because truth has to be aligned with scarcity. This all kind of comes back to Bitcoin, right? But in my mind, where I haven't figured out what I'm about to say, but I think it comes back to Bitcoin. So let's see if I can flush this out. Will we move towards truth being aligned with scarcity? And what I mean by that is the scarcity of scientific beauty in math that humans are you can't deny it, right? So when you see most of the people on the news, they're designed for you to hate them because their math is off, right? So very few of them, especially moving forward, you see all of them the math is objectively off. They're ugly. Let's just call it that. The numbers don't work. They're just ugly, right? So first off, there's a repulsion. So you immediately dislike them just because you're not inherently wanting to procreate, women and men, on a real deep base layer one. You look at them and you're disgusted, right? And that's intentional. They want you to hate them. And I think moving forward, in order to justify what we will recognize as truth, we will need objective beauty to be our North Star. We will only recognize truth. Now there can be a perversion of it, because obviously it'll always get perverted in the end. The powers that be, the small concentric circle of power and money, will start paying scientifically beautiful people to do their bidding. Maybe, but that is in a fiat standard. If we move towards the Bitcoin standard, where there is scarcity in truth and in money and value, then everything will get aligned. Whether that's in our generation or not, I'm not sure. Anyway, when it comes to AI, you can see how we instantly, that uncanny valley, like, it's getting good. Don't get me wrong. There's some amazing AI out there, but there's still like, we're all a bunch of Leonardo DiCaprios. Oh, That's AI. I can spot it right away, and maybe because I'm looking at it, right? But the true scarcity of beautiful people may be aligned with the information that you follow. Like, you're trying to tell me that people hate that woman? UK doesn't want her in. It's such insanity, right? It's unbelievable insanity that she got her passport removed or whatever. She's not welcome. She's not conducive to the good of the nation. I mean, now they're just laughing at people, right? They're running them through just like an intellectual torture chamber, right? You're supposed to, like, imagine how many people are gaslit into actually thinking that. You're like, she's not conducive to the good. Look at her. Then again, maybe there's envy, because that type of beauty is really like 5% of humanity. So you have 95% of ugly ducklings. Most of the women underneath that historically would become maids or servants and not procreate, right? And she would be left to procreate. Anyway, we're getting into the weeds here. I wonder if next move is Canada banning her. She's not conducive to Canadian. Then you'll know it's all just a bunch of bullshit. But we already know it's all a bunch of bullshit. So was that price dump last night, and you kind of felt it, because we are S&M investors, right? We secretly love the pain. We can't get enough of it, right? Who else would get into a market where there's 12 days of movement? And, how many days in a year? 356? 352? What is that? 356? Let's call it 340 days of just brain-numbing pain and boredom, right? That's what we get. And then we live for 12 days. So moving forward, if those days are muted, you got to ask yourself what the hell you're doing, right? So if you no longer even get those 12 days, I don't know. What are you doing here? It's a good question. Most people's bags are packed. I know a lot of people in this community, your bags are packed. You're not going anywhere anyway. But boredom is a real, can really F with you. Let's say you do have some dry powder on the side and you're waiting for a dip, right? If you get too bored, you may buy the wrong dip just because you're bored. I've done it too. You have a little extra money. You're itching to put it into something, and then you can't wait. You lose your patience, and you get in at the wrong time, and it's usually the wrong time, right? On a longer time horizon, it's always a good time to get the money in. But, generally we get a little trigger happy, and we just want things we want to get in. And then, the price goes down. And you're like, why did I get in like that? I didn't even do any research really. I just had the money. I just got bored one day. I had too much coffee, I think, maybe 3 cups of coffee, and I was driving. And I was like, you know what? Today's the day. Boom, pull the trigger, price goes down, right? That's what happens in these boredom. The devil finds work for idle hands. Now, if I was to really think about, technical astrology, and what we got to do these days is make, mountains out of technical molehills, right? And that's what we have here. We have a mountain out of a technical molehill. Some legacy analysts may call this a cute little bear flag. But see, I almost don't want to do it, because it's like in a range that's doing nothing, arguably for a year, we just go from bull flag to bear flag, bull flag to bear flag. Oh, this invalidated. It's a bear flag. Oh, I got invalidated by this little 3% pump. Oh, now I got invalidated by the 3% dump. But we're here. We're up in the morning. We are perusing the information, so we might as well figure out where this goes and how do you find the price probability of a bear flag. You take the bull, you slide it all to the breakout point, and then we're all at 89.2. Now, it would make sense in a ranging market, which we are. We are basically, this reminds me of currency trading after 9:30 till 2:30. So like that, basically it'll range. Currencies will generally range in tight, boring ranges for the majority of the day until the opens and the close, right? We are in that in a big macro cycle sense. We're just in a big range, right? So in a big range, we will go above the 20 moving average, and then we'll come down and we'll test each moving average, you know, so to get behind the 200. When was the last time we were here? Well, not too long ago, January 2nd, you know, so it's just been a few weeks that we were, you know, underneath them all. Now we got over them, and now we're probably going to come back. So to retest this, what is this, 89.2? Let's put it down just so I can make one of those videos. Told you so it's going to go to 89.2. Now, I don't want it to go to 89.2, but if this bear flag plays out, like, listen, if there's no buyers, right, if we want to go down that route, you know, what does the price go down? Well, there's just more sellers than buyers. Okay, all right. You gotta put a lot of trust in the system to actually flush that out intellectually. Like, there's nothing going on behind the scenes. It's just more sellers than buyers. Okay. You can see you'll see them if you go on X. You see all the coordinated dump tweets that are going out. Everyone dumping at the same time. Okay, maybe. You know, if you have enough and you want to push the market down, I guess it's good. You know, maybe. Welcome everyone on Arena. Or I tried to stream on Arena from the Jimmy, and for some reason it wouldn't. It just, on this computer, it works. On my MacBook Pro 14-incher, it wouldn't do it. I think the piano stream on Arena would be good. I haven't seen anything like it. Although I haven't seen anything like it on YouTube. Doesn't matter. It doesn't really catch on YouTube either. But who knows? Maybe it's Arena that blows that piano stream up. Now, if we got under the 200 moving average here, all hell would break loose, because we would break that. First off, we would have to sit around 90.6. And listen, I don't ever want to see 90.6 again. I'll have PTSD on 90.6. You know, it was hard. It was too hard to handle. So if we ever get back to that, I don't know what would invalidate this bear flag. Anything, because we're on the 4-hour chart. This is a noisy little so-and-so that makes it's of no consequence, right? You go up to the daily, it makes a little more sense. Did we invalidate this cup and handle? Not really, because we could just move this, like, let's get rid of this thing. Just redraw it. That's the beauty of a technical astrology. You just redraw it. Whatever fits your narrative, right? We're sitting here trying to control our biases. It's impossible, right? We can just, you know, redraw it. Did I draw it wrong before? No. It was right for the moment. And then the price changed, and then you redraw it, right? You can always redraw technical astrology. There's no rules to it. You can make as many probabilities as you want. So if we were to break under here, I'd say, yeah, we haven't really invalidated the cup and handle. But again, we need more buyers and sellers. Do we have them? No, I don't think we do. Army Pipes, 89.2, WBCT. Uh-oh. What are these crazy technical astrology acronyms? Army Piper, WBCT? Women, because I'm not even going to go any farther there. My mind would have maybe blurted out some words there. But we'll leave it. Let us know what WBCT means. WBTC. Oh, got it. Wrapped Bitcoin. So you can see, we're still in it. We're still in the cup and handle, but it's still the daily chart, you know? And so when we are lazy, I was thinking that it was weird. It's like I was disappointed in my brain, because right now my brain's on autopilot, right? I'm not really controlling what it thinks. That's how you got to do these live streams. And I was like, really? The first word you're going to come up with is that? Yeah, you have no better word than that? I didn't, you know? Even right now, I don't. Even the whole stream is in their mind. I've now implanted that word in everyone's mind here on a Monday morning. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm not sorry, though, really. It's just, you know, this is one of the beauties of the live stream, is that we're all on the same frequency, this wave, right? We're all kind of thinking thinking of it. Piper Academy, my favorite radio jock, Matty B. Listen daily on 89.2 WBTC. There was a time when I was in my teens where I thought of a job that I could do. And I thought, well, you know what I'd like to do? It's just as, not my job, because I never wanted a job, right? I always knew I didn't want a job. But it's like, what would be a good gig is writing the call letter jingles to radio stations. Like for instance, because they don't follow traditional melodies. It's almost like they throw darts at the C major scale. Like they'll go, throw 4 darts. Oh yeah, okay, we'll use that. WBTC radio. It's just the arbitrary notes. WBTC radio. I can do that. I can throw darts at that. And then by the time I got old enough to make that job, there was no really radio stations anymore. They all got bought up by one massive conglomerate. Now, this is maybe the worst news I could be delivering here. This is the bull market rejection zone. I'm officially saying we tapped it, even though it wasn't to the dollar, but nothing's to the dollar, right? Everything's a rounded bottom or top, so to speak. And it fulfilled what I didn't want to see. I remember on Friday, I said, I don't want to see a massive wick here on this weekly close because it's just a sign of complete rejection, right? Rejection from where? The bull market rejection zone. If we ever didn't want to see a rejection from a certain zone, it's the rejection zone, right? I'll take a rejection anytime. As a man, I've taken rejection many times. The one time I don't want to take a rejection is from the bull market rejection zone. And this is, there's no way to sugarcoat this one. This is a full-on rejection from the rejection zone into, I would expect further, this is what I don't want to see. Further bearish action on this candle, closing it down here at the this old bear flags resistance, now acting as support, I suppose. Oh my God, it's at 96. I had a massive rant about 90.6 last week that I turned into a video, I think. I can't remember if I did. The funny thing is that when I make the standalone videos, there's about 5 I've just never done because I forget, because just making the videos and I stick them in finished videos and I look at them and did I upload that? I think I did and I didn't. There's 5, so maybe, whatever. Maybe we'll do it in a timely manner. But 90.6, imagine closing this week at 90.6, right? And I'll just do this for the video next Monday. Imagine closing this week at 90.6. Anyway, that's for next Monday's video. That would also put in a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. Now, those are way more powerful than anything on the 4-hour chart or anything on the daily chart. You don't want to see this price action on the weekly. It would just represent continued bearish action, maybe into this bear flag, which we don't want. We don't want to. We want to basically stay out of this. But you can see, this is since November 17th. It's basically Chop City. Look at the wicks, upside and downside. This is pretty crazy. It's someone would describe this as volatile, but really the price swing. Let's go. We'll take here and we'll go down to there. It's a 10%. So we're talking about 5 up, 5 down, right? Which is nothing. If we take a look at last week's rejection, it was 5%. That's where we stand. And then the more interesting part is that a 5% gain. I know we don't see 5% to the upside. It's always to the downside. But if we were to see a 5% gain this week, we would be up around the bull market rejection zone. Now, there's no law. It seems as though I made this up in my head There's no law that says you can't retest the bull market rejection zone and close a candle. Now, how's it happened before? No. But there's always a first time for everything, right? We could do that this bull market. Now it would be the first time we ever did it. So it is possible. It is possible. Likely? No. But it is possible.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.